Hey, Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated and the lovely SethDavid.com. We're talking about Microsoft Excel. This is our course on Microsoft Excel, the basics, and we're going to start off this first lesson talking about keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts, knowing the keyboard shortcuts are going to help you navigate around a spreadsheet much faster and get the work that you're doing done much more efficiently. So let's take a look at my screen and see what this looks like. If you have a look at the Excel spreadsheet, and this is the working file that we're using in the class, and by the way, if you're one of the people who was in my class at Santa Monica College, don't sign up. I'm going to make sure that these videos are available to you free of charge. So do not sign up if you were one of the people at Santa Monica College who took the course with me. So obviously the arrow keys are the first most basic thing we're going to use to move our cell pointer around the screen, which you can see is happening right now. If I'm on, for example, the item header right there, and I want to get quickly across, control right arrow. So control right arrow moves me quickly to the end of a range. That's assuming I'm starting out on a range. If I'm not on a range, control, for example, in this case, and the left arrow will get me to the beginning of it. Another control left arrow gets me all the way across. So play around with it when you have a table like this, and you'll start to kind of get the behavior down. Control on an arrow either finds the next thing or moves you to the end of a range that's got things in it. The next thing that we've gone over quite a bit here is if I wanted to insert rows, Shift Spacebar will highlight an entire row, then Control Shift and the equal sign, which also has the plus sign on it. But and make sure that you're using the plus sign that's shared with the equal sign. In other words, the one at the top of your keyboard. If you use the plus sign on the right on your number pad, if you've got one of those, that one won't work. If we want to delete, that's Control and the minus sign. So to delete an entire row, Shift Spacebar again, Control minus deletes the entire row. Shift Spacebar highlights the entire row. Control Spacebar will highlight an entire column. So if I need to insert columns, Control Spacebar and then Control Shift and the equal sign. To delete those columns, again, Control Spacebar to highlight a column, Control minus. So to quickly get around and insert rows or columns, you're going to use either Shift Spacebar or Control Spacebar, depending on whether it's a row or a column that you want to either insert or delete. And then inserting is Control Shift plus. Deleting is simply Control and the minus key. Right? Control Shift plus or equals is to insert, and Control and the minus sign deletes. Those are some of the main navigational keyboard shortcuts that we've talked about. Now there's a couple of others. So if, for example, you're seeing that I'm here on the Master Budget tab, and I want to switch back over to Office Supplies, Control and page down gets me to Office Supplies. Control and page down again gets me to the contact form. Right? Control and page up moves me to the previous. So Control and then either the page up or page down keys will toggle you either to the right or to the left across the different worksheets or tabs that you have at the bottom of your spreadsheet. Those are some of the high-level navigational shortcuts that we've gone over so far in the course in the first two sessions or lessons. When we got into the formatting, we talked about Control and the number 1. Control and the number 1 brings up your Format Cells dialog. So if you're looking to do some formatting, this comes in handy. So if I wanted to format, for example, this row, Shift Spacebar to highlight the row, Control 1 brings up my Format Cells dialog. And if I wanted to, I can give it, a fill for the entire row. So again, we're talking about keyboard shortcuts. Of course, you could also click your color palette up there. So Control and the number 1 brings up your Format Cells dialog. A few other things we talked about keyboard shortcut-wise. If I want to paste just the value of a cell, or if I want to paste just the format of a cell, what I can do is, first of all, I copy what has the formats or the value that I want, right? So if I come out here, for example, and I say, let's put today's date in there, and let's say it wasn't bolded, and let's say it's formatted just like a regular old number, and I want to get one of these date formats in here, I can Control-C to copy. Control right arrow gets me down to the end there, accepting that I hit about 3 other keys along the way. So let's back up. Control-C to copy. Control right arrow will get me right down to the end where that number is. And now to paste special, we're going to hold down the Alt key on our keyboard, and press the letter E as in edit. So Alt-E is in edit, then S is in special. Alt-E and then the S key will bring up your paste special dialog. The next thing to note are the underscored letters on each of the commands or options that you have on this dialog. At this point, you no longer need to be holding down the Alt key. You can simply press the underscored letter whose command you'd like to activate. So if I want formats, notice the T is underscored. So if I hit the letter T on my keyboard, then that activates the formats, and when I hit enter to confirm, it's going to update the formatting of that cell to include it based on today's date. And then we'll delete that. So Control C to copy, and then Alt E is in edit, S is in special, gets me that paste special dialog. That's the beginning of the keyboard shortcuts. We're going to be adding more as we go. So if you are over here on the page, I'm going to bring it up. You'll notice that what I've done is I've created this using Google Sheets, ironically enough. And you can access this right here on the page, or you can click this option here. That'll get you access to the live document, which when you go here, you'll have view-only access, obviously, so nobody can mess with my template. All you'll need to do to make it your own is click over here on File, and you can either choose Download. I think Download As will be your only choice. You might have this choice here that says Make a Copy. Make a Copy will make it your own copy in your own Google or Google Docs account. Download As you can see, will give you options to download in Excel or PDF or whatever your preferred format might be for this kind of thing. That, my friends, is your high-level beginner introductory course on Microsoft Excel and the keyboard shortcuts that are going to help you get around your spreadsheets much, much faster.